गुड मॉर्निंग स्टूडेंट्स। सो संडे है आज का दिन, मालूम है थोड़ा आराम करना है और मजे करने हैं, लेकिन अभी स्टडीज तो करना पड़ेगा। ठीक है, फिलहाल तो हम लोग इकोनॉमिक्स का 10th चैप्टर करने वाले हैं। जो लास्ट चैप्टर होगा इस पोर्शन का, दैट इज इकोनॉमिक प्लानिंग इन इंडिया। सो देखो, चैप्टर ज्यादा बड़ा है नहीं। जो चैप्टर है वेरी सिंपल चैप्टर। थोड़े डिटेल्स थोड़े आपको और लगेंगे कि लाइक ये क्या है, लेकिन इट इज मच नेसेसरी थिंग बिकॉज आपको जो बेसिक नॉलेज होगा अबाउट इकोनॉमी ऑफ इंडिया आपको यहाँ से मिल जाएगा। सो देखो, इकोनॉमिक प्लानिंग इन इंडिया, इसमें बताया गया कि तो 1950 इन द ईयर 1950 गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया दे हैव एस्टैब्लिश्ड द प्लानिंग कमीशन and Prime Minister it is has been designated as ex officio chairman of the Planning Commission, and the Planning Commission consisted of experts from various fields such as from banking field, from finance field, from industry, and it was responsible for formulation of economic plan. So what was their work? Their work is to plan economic activities, their work is to plan our economy, and their work is to plan for a future, for a bright future. And the Prime Minister is a chairman of this committee, and other experts they are appointed, and those people they are expert in their own fields. So what is the definition or what is the meaning of economic planning? Because we are very much concerned about economic planning. So what is the definition or what is what you can say, what is the meaning of this term? That economic planning, it is a time bound program. So it is a time bound program and which is undertaken to achieve certain objectives with the help of available resources by the planning authority. Means basically what we used to do, we try to achieve the objectives which are already laid down with the help of available resources, and for that term we make a time bound plan. Means it is not like okay कि चलो प्लानिंग कर दिया और अभी 10 साल 20 साल जब तो होगा अचीव तब देखा जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं होगा। एक स्पेसिफिक टाइम पीरियड हम लोग डिसाइड करेंगे कि विद इन वन ईयर और विद इन 6 मंथ ये टारगेट जो है वो अचीव होना चाहिए। सो दिस इज नोन एज व्हाट यू कैन से इकोनॉमिक प्लानिंग। अकॉर्डिंग टू डॉक्टर H.D. Dickinson, so that person says economic planning is the making of major economic decisions such as what and how much to be produced, how, when and where it is to be produced, and to whom it is to be allocated by the conscious decisions of determinate authority. So basically what this person focus about, he focus about the production activity. That he asked the question that what and how much quantity should be produced, then when and where it should be produced, then how it should be allocated to the people, and these decisions they are taken by the determinate authorities, and that process of taking a decision is known as economic planning. And on the basis of comprehensive survey of the economy as a whole, they took these decisions regarding the economic planning. Then there is another definition coming from Mr. Barbara Bhutan. That person says planning is a conscious and deliberate choice of economic priorities by some public authority. So obviously it is a choice of some of the decisions or some of the priorities which you need to undertake for a development of a country, and these decisions they are taken by some public authorities, as you can say. So what are the features of economic planning? The first of all, it is a central planning authority. The central planning authority in a country, they undertook this economic planning, and in India the planning commission it undertook this activity, and planning commission takes decision about the economic planning, you can say. But now it has been replaced by the Niti Aayog. That is Niti Aayog, it is a full form, it is National Institution of Transforming India, that is NITI. It is also known as the Niti Aayog since 2015. So before 2015 it was a planning commission, and now it is Niti Aayog. The second most feature of this economic planning, a survey. It is a comprehensive survey of economy, and which is undertaken regarding the availability and utilization of human and natural resources. So basically it is a survey which is undertaken for what you can say for availability and for utilization of resources. Then what are the objectives of this economic planning? The objective, it is another feature, because economic planning it is based on certain predetermined objective which are realistic and flexible. So obviously those objectives they should be realistic and they should be flexible. And they should not be rigid, so that if there is just a condition that you need to change the objectives, then it should not become difficult to alter the things. It should not become difficult to change the things. So they should be what you can say flexible. Again, priorities and targets. The priorities are fixed according to the importance of each sector, and for what they are doing this for accelerating the economic development, and target is the concrete step towards the attainment of objectives. So what are the priorities? Priorities, they are already fixed in advance, and what are the targets? That they are the steps which are taken so that you can achieve that objective. Mobilization of resources, if you are saying the resources needed for planning are mobilized through various sources, because the main sources for a planning commission or main sources for a development purpose is the money, which is collected through the taxation, domestic saving, deficit financing, public debt, external assistance. These are the various modes of mobilization of resources. Then plan period, as we know that it is a time bound process, so plan period it varies as per the need. And in India, the planning, it is generally done for 5 years, and we know that 5-year plan, so it is done for 5 years. Evaluation, if you are talking about the evaluation, the periodic assessment such as the midterm appraisal is done to incorporate the necessary changes in priority and targets. Because from time to time we need to evaluate the things, we need to check that whether we are going on the right path or not. So that's why the midterm appraisal it is done, so that if there is a requirement of necessary changes, then you can do that and you can utter the things. And it is a continuous process because it aims at the development of a country. It aims at development of the country. Coordination it is required in economic planning because the states of the country also undertake economic planning along with the central government or along with the center. So thus the coordination between various states and the central government, it is very much mandatory and it is very much important. Flexibility, if you are talking, the Central Planning Authority maintains flexibility in the approach, and this makes it possible to incorporate necessary changes in the plan as per the requirements during implementation. So Central Planning Authority, as we discussed above, it maintains flexibility in approach. So if there is any need to make necessary changes in the plan, they are they don't hesitate to do that. So basically we are done with the features of the economic plan, and one of the feature which we have discussed is that plan period. It is usually done for a 5-year period. So that's what the second point is, 12th 5-year plan, which started from 2012 and it was ended on 2017. It was a era of 5 years. And so the 12th, what is the special about this thing that we are going to study here? The 12th 5-year plan, which covered the period from 2012 to 2017, and it focuses on sustainable development or sustainable growth, you can say. The plan aims at encouraging the development of India's agriculture, India's education, health and social welfare through the government spending, and it also aimed at creating employment through developing the India's manufacturing sector. So basically it aims at sustainable growth, because what sustainable growth aims at? Sustainable growth aims at satisfying the needs of the present generation along with the keeping something for the future generation, you can say. Means it should not be like, okay, we have exhausted everything, we have used everything and there is nothing left for a future generation. So that is not the approach in sustainable development. Majorly they aims at satisfying, fulfilling the needs of the present generation, and also they aims at keeping something for the future. Okay. And what are the targets of this 12th 5-year plan? The first one, obviously, it is economic growth. The real GDP growth rate, it was 8%, which is achieved. Again, agricultural growth rate, it is 4% to be gained. Manufacturing or industrial growth rate, it is 10% to be achieved. And every state must have higher average growth rate in 12th plan, what was achieved in the 11th plan. So as compared to the 11th plan, you need to achieve a higher growth rate in your 12th plan. So if you are talking about, means we focus on the GDP, that is the gross domestic product. It means the number of commodities or number of the products which are produced during a period of 1 year in a country, and their aggregate value, it is known as gross domestic product. जितने भी प्रोडक्ट्स, जितने भी सर्विसेज मैन्युफैक्चर किए गए हैं पूरे एक साल में इस कंट्री में, उनका ग्रॉस वैल्यूएशन अगर आप करोगे, दैट इज अ ग्रॉस डोमेस्टिक प्रोडक्ट. अगर एग्रीकल्चर ग्रोथ रेट जो था उसका टारगेट 5.4% है, इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर का 10% है, और बताया गया था कि हर स्टेट ने 11 प्लान के मुकाबले यू हैव टू अचीव अ ग्रेटर ग्रोथ रेट. Then the second target, it is a poverty and unemployment. So they aims at reducing the head count of poverty by 10%. So they aims at reduction of a poverty, and they also aims at to reduce unemployment, or you can say to create employment. So their target is to create 50 million new work opportunities for non-farm sector, because you know that major population, it is still depend upon the farming sector, agriculture sector. So the 50 million new work opportunities in non-farming sector, and this was their target. The third target, it is education. The many years of schooling to increase to 7 years by the end of the 12th plan. So my mistake, it's the mean years of schooling to increase to the 7th year by the end of the 12th plan. Again, access to the higher education with reference to the skill development. Then eliminate gender and social gap in school enrollment by end of this plan, so that there should be the equality among the society, so that everyone should get that, what you can say, that opportunity to study. Then the fourth target, it is health targets. So total fertility rate, it should be reduced to 2.1%. Then undernutrition, we know that many children, they suffers to the malnutrition, or you can say undernutrition. So reduction in undernutrition or reduce undernutrition among the children in the age group of 0 to 3 years to the half of NFHS 3 level. So they aims at reducing that undernutrition level. And what is NFHS 3? It is the information of various level of NFHS, that is National Family Health Survey. So according to National Family Health Survey, there are various levels, and we target at reducing that undernutrition to the half of the third level of National Family Health Survey. The fifth target, it is infrastructure, because that is the most important aspect of the economy for development of the economy. So the investment in infrastructure, it should be increased to the 9% of GDP. Then connect all roads, all villages with the roads, or with the weather roads, you can say. Again, increase in rural television and telephone density up to that 70%. And these are the basic targets, so that because if the infrastructure facilities, they increased in a, you can say, drastic manner, that will help for the development of a country. The sixth target is environment and sustainability, because increase the green cover by 1 million hectare every year during 12th plan. So they focuses on planting a trees. They focuses on creating green, you can say, green cover. Again, the seventh target, which is the last one, that is a service delivery. It provides access to the banking facilities, banking services to the 90% of Indian household by the end of this plan. That major or 90% of Indian household, they should have accessibility towards the banking services. Major subsidies and welfare related beneficiaries to be shifted to direct cash transfer by using Aadhaar platform linked with the bank account. As we know that that subsidy from that gas, LPG gas, it is directly transferred to our bank account. So this was the aim, or this was the one of the aim which has attained by the government, and they are again, like, moreover, they are trying to increase that reach of the people, because still there are guys who, still there are places where they don't have accessibility to the banking services as we have. Now, what we discussed earlier is that Planning Commission, it was replaced by the Niti Aayog. So here is certain details about this Niti Aayog, that is National Institute for Transforming India. So the 12th five-year plan, which ended on 31st March 2017, it was extended by the 6 months, that is till 4th October 2017, by enabling ministries to complete their appraisals. So the Niti Aayog, which was introduced in 2015, we already discussed it was introduced in 2015, aims to expanding the roles of the states and again making the states' role more positive in collaboration with the center. Because as we know that coordination between state government and central government, it is very much important, it is very much mandatory for the development of a country. So they mainly focuses on improving the role of the states and improving that coordination, so that achieve or the targets which we are trying to achieve, they can be achieved very easily. And now the formation of Niti Aayog, it was innovative and very much remarkable step to reinforce the principle of federalism and decentralization of the power. It also aims at to accelerate the economic growth and development, because after introduction of Niti Aayog, it was very like we can say there was a very drastic changes in the economy, and this was a big step, you can say. Again, the Niti Aayog was one of the resolution of Niti Aayog. It was sanctioned on 1st January 2015, but its actual execution started after the completion of 12th five-year plan. So that we know that Niti Aayog, it was introduced since 2015, but it came into force after the end of 12th year plan, that is after 31st March 2017. The next concept, it is a think tank function. As a premier policy think tank function, or you can say think tank of Government of India, Niti Aayog aims to evolve shared vision of national development with active involvement of a state, and it fosters cooperative federalism through structural support and policy guidance to the states on continuous basis. So this think tank approach, it mainly focuses on creating that federalism, creating that teamwork, creating that coordination among the state and center, so that development which we are aiming to achieve, that growth rate or that development, that target, it should be achieved very much earlier, so that we can, like, now we are a developing country, so in coming future we will be considered as a developed country. So some of the pillars of Niti Aayog, some of the important aspects of Niti Aayog. The first one, it is vision document of India. Second one, it is appraisal document of 12th five-year plan. Then third one, transforming India. It includes lecture series organized by the Niti Aayog. Then doubling of farmers' income, outcome, budget and outcome framework. Again, global entrepreneurship summit 2017 and launching of program to transform identified as aspirational districts. So these are the very pillars of Niti Aayog. What you have to do, you have to just remember the names, and so that at least if someone asks you, or at least if it came to a question in exam, then you can answer it, because we are not going to study that in detail. Okay. So now we are discussing about Niti Aayog, and it is very much important to understand the structure of Niti Aayog. What is the structure of Niti Aayog? The resolution dated on 1st January 2015 and its subsequent amendment on 16th February 2015 provides for the structure of a Niti Aayog, and it includes a government council, the comprising of chief ministers of all states and governors of all union territories. Then it would be formed to address specific issues and contingencies impacting more than one state or region. So it was formed to address bigger issues. Again, this would include experts, it includes specialists, it includes practitioners with the relevant knowledge who will be nominated by the Prime Minister. We have discussed this earlier. Okay. Then what is organizational framework? Means what are the authorities which are involved in this Niti Aayog? The chairperson, obviously he will be Prime Minister of India. Vice chairperson to be appointed by the Prime Minister. There are 5 full-time members and 2 part-time members. Then ex officio member, the maximum 4 members of Union Council of Ministers, again to be nominated by Prime Minister. Then Chief Executive Officer, that is CEO, to be appointed by Prime Minister for a fixed tenure in the rank of Secretary to the Government of India, and the Secretariat as it necessary, as it deemed it is necessary. So basically it involves chairperson, vice chairperson, ex officio members, chief executive officer, and if needed then secretary. what are the functions of this Niti Aayog? Why it is created? The functions of Niti Aayog, it is first of all, it's shared national agenda. It involves a shared vision of national development, priorities and strategies with active involvement of a state. This provides a framework for national agenda for a prime minister and a chief ministers to implement. So basically, they aims at development of a nation. You can observe. Then states best friend at the center. Support states in addressing their own challenges and building on strength, comparative advantages. This will be through various means such as coordinating with ministries, campaigning their ideas at the center, providing consultancy support, and building a capacity. We have discussed this earlier that think tank approach होगा या फिर बाकी भी चीजें होंगी. मेजर टाइम सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट वो ट्राई करता है कि स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के साथ कोऑर्डिनेशन मेंटेन करना और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के साथ मिलके ये जो ऑब्जेक्टिव है नेशनल डेवलपमेंट का वो अचीव करना. So if they are planning to coordinate with the state, obviously it will become a friend of the center, friend at the center, because जो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट है वो अपने प्रॉब्लम्स बता सकते हैं, अपने चैलेंजेस बता सकते हैं, अपने स्ट्रेंथ्स बता सकते हैं, एडवांटेजेस वो लोग बता सकते हैं. एंड ये सब पॉसिबल कैसे होगा? तो मिनिस्ट्रीज के कोऑर्डिनेशन से, अपने आइडियाज सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के साथ शेयर करने से. सो इससे होगा क्या? फायदा दोनों का होने वाला है. देन डिसेंट्रलाइज प्लानिंग. देखो इस बार प्लानिंग डिसेंट्रलाइज होगा. पहले प्लानिंग कमीशन में सेंट्रलाइज प्लानिंग होता था, अब ये डिसेंट्रलाइज होगा. इट इज बॉटम अप मॉडल है. इसमें विलेज लेवल से लेके लोकल गवर्नमेंट लेवल से लेके नेशनल एंड अप टू द सेंट्रल लेवल गवर्नमेंट डिसीजन मेकिंग होता है. देन इट इज अ नॉलेज एंड इनोवेशन हब. Be an accumulator as well as the booster of our resources and best practices on a good governance. Through the state of art resource center, which identifies, which analyzes, which shares and facilitates replication of the same. So basically this is a knowledge and innovation hub because major times they focuses on attaining the various knowledges because as we know that states वो लोग जो है वो अपने ideas campaign कर सकते हैं. So अगेन वो लोग अपना नॉलेज शेयर कर सकते हैं, कोई इनोवेटिव कोई चीज होगी वो लोग को इंट्रोड्यूस कर सकते हैं. एंड इसके वजह से होता क्या है? तो फायदा पूरे देश का ही हो जाता है. मॉनिटरिंग एंड इवेल्युएशन. मॉनिटर द इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ पॉलिसीज एंड प्रोग्राम्स एंड इवेल्युएट देयर इम्पैक्ट थ्रू द रिगरस ट्रैकिंग ऑफ प्रोग्राम मेट्रिक्स एंड कंप्रिहेंसिव प्रोग्राम इवेल्युएशन. सो जो भी पॉलिसीज, जो भी प्रोग्राम्स अंडरटेकन किए गए हैं, जो भी व्हाट यू कैन से जो भी डिसीजंस लिए गए हैं उनका इवेल्युएशन प्रॉपर्ली हो रहा है नहीं, उनका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन प्रॉपर्ली हो रहा है नहीं, ये हम लोग चेक कर सकते हैं. अगेन हम लोग उसका इवेल्युएशन ले सकते हैं. इसके वजह से होगा क्या? तो आपके जो भी वीकनेसेस है आप वो आइडेंटिफाई कर सकते हो. जो भी बॉटल्स नेक है, जो भी लीकेजेस है प्रोग्राम्स में, आप उसको आइडेंटिफाई कर सकते हो, उसको करेक्ट कर सकते हो. एंड अकॉर्डिंगली जो